Meeting to order. I just want to start by saying the town of Rome hopes that all of you have enjoyed a wonderful holiday season of blessings, and we want to wish each and every one of you the happiest of New Year's, and may you find true peace and joy in 2025. Alrighty, and then I'll call the Town of Rome Board meeting on Thursday, January 2nd, 2025, 5 p.m. to order. Roll call starting on my left, please.
Stevenson here.
Minter here.
Jumati here.
Cole here.
All right. Certify the posting, please.
I certify that on Friday, December 27th, 2024, the agenda for the Town of Rome Board meeting for Thursday, January 2nd, 2025 was posted at the Rome Town Hall at 3:42 p.m., posted at Quick Trip LLC at 3:47 p.m., at Nakusa Port Edward State Bank at 3:52 p.m., and emailed to the Wisconsin Rapids Tribune at 11:25 a.m.
Thank you very much. May I just, Jason, could you move the mic away from her, from Lisa's computer? I think that might be where the humming's coming from. Mine accidentally did that one day too. That's not improving it, huh?
Just turn that off.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh. Somebody's magnetic personality, huh? Okay. We need a motion to approve the agenda, please.
Move to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Motion by Supervisor Minter, second by Supervisor Evenson to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, did we get any citizen comment cards? Okay, then I won't read the first paragraph, but I will read the second, as we do have members in the audience tonight. The board will also take comment from the public on agenda items as called by the chair, but not during citizen comment. Please note that once the board begins discussion on an agenda item, no further comment will be allowed from the public on that issue. No action contemplated except possible referral to a future agenda. Information updates, meeting recaps, recent correspondence, current events, and announcements. And I'll start. I have one that I think is really exciting. Thank you to our interim public works director and anybody on staff that helped facilitate this. But you might have seen this posted already. And this is exciting. So we'll be able to start accepting items free of charge, such as computers, stereos, shredders. The list is out there. It goes on. Big old TVs. Whatever you have in electronics, consider the transfer site. If you have any questions, just call them or the town. And please note that there are specific containers for these items, so look for those actual containers. Okay, and I'll start with Jackie on my right.
Let's see. With it being cold, you can find this, hold it up. You're not going to be able to see it, but maybe you'll see the colors of this poster somewhere. And you can find it on the Visit Rome website, and it's all the fisheries that are happening within the town. So there's 2, 4, 8 of them just on this poster. So they're all for good causes and fun, so you might want to take advantage of some of the fisheries. First one is January 11th, Rome Snow Bandits at the Lure.
That's their Petenwell Palooza, and there's lots of good door prizes, and it's a good fundraiser for that club.
Okay. And then otherwise, there are some winter events going on at Sam Valley. You can always find their information on their website, but they do have a couple of wine dinners coming up if you're interested in that sort of thing. And otherwise, as always, I suggest you go to the town website for information, accurate information about the town. That's romewi.gov. All events and tourism related is visitromewi.com and
.gov.
Visit Rome is not .gov.
Oh, sorry.
Visit romewi.com. The town is .gov. Visit Rome is .com. And then both groups also have Facebook pages, so you can find out everything that's going on. And I think the town has been doing a improved job on the website with providing information on there. So that's really all I have.
Okay. Cheryl?
I have nothing today.
Sure you don't want to make that announcement about the Packer game?
Or is that
The
just for?
Camelot? No, they'll be having their last day open at the Camelot Lodge this Sunday. Go Pack.
All right. Ann?
I have nothing.
Okay.
We know there's a Bears fan over there. Go Pack.
All right. November department and committee reports. Does anybody have any questions, comments for the reports as contained in your packet? All right. Then we'll move on. Discussion and possible action on the following items. Discussion and possible action. Approval of the December 5th, 2024 meeting minutes.
I move to approve the meeting minutes of December 5th, 2024.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Supervisor Cole and a second by Supervisor Evenson to approve the December 5th, 2024 meeting minutes. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, discussion and possible action. That's my favorite. Checks, vouchers, receipts, and journal entries. Approve November checks number 46937 through 47010 totaling $208,659.22. Auto payments totaling $236,181.15. State and Social Security Medicare withholdings totaling $40,004.13. Payroll vouchers V22961 through V23089 totaling $102,352.32, and checks 21685 through 21688 totaling $453.18. Receipt number 26061 through 26118 totaling $252,079.36.
I'll move to approve the checks, vouchers, receipts, and journal entries as listed on the agenda and read by the town chairman.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Supervisor Cole, a second by Supervisor Minter to approve the checks, vouchers, receipts, and journal entries as presented and listed on the agenda. Any more questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Discussion and possible action, annual visit Rome report and update. So Lisa's going to join us up front here at the table so she can operate the computer and what's on the screen.
So again, I'm Lisa Kubis. I'm the Executive Director of Visit Rome. I'll be doing a recap of our annual report that you all have in your hands. First slide is our 2024, well, it's not a projected spending breakdown. It would have been 2 weeks ago when I was on the agenda. But this is close to where we ended. So these were all of our expenditures for the year. You can see tourism development and tourism marketing were each about 24%. Tourism wages, 17%. Our grant and community funding, 18%, and our operations, 12%. I think most people in this room know this, but 100% of our funds come from room tax collected in the town of Rome. Our budget is expected to increase by about 10% in 2025, bringing our portion of the room tax to about $950,000. Approximately 80% of that funding is generated at Sand Valley through their room tax. In terms of tourism development, we have had quite a few exciting things happen in 2024. The biggest is our Link the Lakes project. We did receive a large grant from the Community Foundation. We are underway with our corporate sponsorship campaign, where we've had 3 businesses in the community come on with a sponsorship, Up North Brewing, Nukusa Port Edward State Bank, and Coldwell Banker so far. We will be doing a community brick campaign, so everyone should watch for that if you want your name on a brick in the trail. Secondly, we installed a kayak and paddleboard self-service system at Walden Park. That did happen pretty late in the year. It was delayed due to weather and some problems that they were having, but in 2025, hopefully that'll get, some use, and all those funds will go to Rome Parks and Rec, the Rome Parks and Rec Department. Lastly, we opened our own office across the street. We've had just an enormous increase in traffic. We opened up our conference room to community groups, being used by a lot of different nonprofits in the community, so it's nice to see it being used. In terms of tourism marketing, we've tried a bunch of new things this year. We did a billboard campaign in the Chicago suburbs, promoting fall and winter in Rome. We did a website retargeting. So if someone's cruising on our website, I think it was 3 clicks, they had to be engaged with the website. But then it was followed up with a postcard in the mail. I should have brought some. We developed our hiking and biking pocket map. I think a lot of you have seen that. We did a sponsorship for the Wisconsin PGA at Sand Valley. We attended the Wisconsin Fishing Expo in Madison for the first time. I did take a local fishing guide, and we did develop an enhanced logo for our fishing initiatives, and we'll get to that in a minute. And then there was a resurrection of the Midwest golf shows. So the Lake Arrowhead and Sand Valley pros are attending the Minneapolis, Milwaukee, and Chicago golf shows. So this was the billboard that you would have seen in the Chicago suburbs promoting fall in Rome. And this was the winter. Obviously, we use the Carter family for a lot of our promotions. This was the retargeting postcard. So again, if someone went on our website, it was followed up by this postcard that they got in the mail. This is a picture of our hiking and biking map. So this was the enhanced fishing logo that we developed. When I went to the fishing show in Madison, a lot of people think we're the Rome between Milwaukee and Madison. Mm-hmm. So just a way to tie Lake Petenwell with our Rome. So we'll be using this on anything at that fishing show, anything with a Walleye Masters series that's happening on Lake Petenwell this spring, for Walleye Day sponsorship. And then there is a collegiate series that UW La Crosse has started, so this logo will be used on their shirts. In terms of 2024 grants and community funding, we continued our workforce development initiative with Mid-State Technical College. 22 students were enrolled in the culinary certification program. We also were the title sponsor for the Heart of Wisconsin Leadership Program, which is a pretty reputable leadership program in this area. We're actually doing one of the workshops at the Visit Rome office in March, so that'll be pretty exciting. Our grant programs, we continue with the $500 new business support grants. So the latest would have been Foss Nursery that opened last spring, as well as our tourism grants. The picture you see here was a grant that we gave a volunteer group for Lake Arrowhead. So the big picture shows them. they were they were working on fish habitat, and then it was followed up by fish stocking, which you can see in the little picture below. Event donations. So we continue to, all the money that we would make at the farmer's market on merchandise sales or at our concerts through beer and food sales, those funds are donated to a nonprofit in the area. And then we do have a couple of multi-year commitments. The $25,000 annual contribution to the Rome Town Center was extended through 2028. And then we are giving $25,000 annually to the Nano Bubbler Initiative. And that'll be a 5-year commitment. We're involved in a lot of events in Rome, so I'm not going to read all of these, but on the top, those are the events that we actually hosted. The concerts at the Bandshell. We tried 2 outdoor movies at the Bandshell in conjunction with the Adams County Tourism Organization. We did have an open house. Chelsea, who works at our office part-time, has started monthly guided hikes. We've co-hosted a bunch of events, the Halloween festivities, Christmas in Rome, the Veterans Luncheon, and then we just sponsor a whole host of other events, including the Midi Mutter, where's my list? The Pond Hockey Tournament, Walleye Days, the shooting tournaments, and those sponsorships total about $57,000. Our strategic focus really hasn't changed. I mean, number one is to strengthen our position as a shoulder season destination. We continue to prioritize the expansion and development of new attractions like Link the Lakes. We support the development of new events and continue to build on successful existing events. We're dedicated to our workforce development initiatives. And lastly, just to champion Visit Rome's vision and mission. Oh, shoot. Sorry about that. The last slide just shows I just always like to follow up. This is the Visit Rome Board of Directors. Jackie Cole, as you know, is the town-appointed member. Jordan Powell will be starting with us, actually our January board meeting. He's from Sand Valley. He also has a bunch of short-term rentals, so that'll be nice to have someone with that background on our board. Lucky Smolarek from Lake Arrowhead. This one was pretty exciting, and Jackie kind of facilitated this one. April Holsley I think she's a regional manager for Quick Trip. Lindsay Scheider from Coldwell Banker. Mary Briniarski from Nakusset Port Edward State Bank. Glenn Murray, Scott Bordeaux, Bob Bauerheit, Will Beckstrom, and Tim O'Connor. Any questions?
I had one, or a couple here, let's see. Oh, on tourism development, under the Link the Lakes project, we had agreed in the fall to sign papers for you to take a loan with the Coosa Port Edward State Bank. Are you still planning on moving forward with that as well then for funding?
We are. We don't know
Okay.
the exact amount.
Okay, because you got quite a bit from Legacy, so that kind of changes what you were originally thinking.
Right.
Okay.
We got quite a bit from them.
I just didn't see it listed, so I just didn't know if you were still depending on that as part of the funding or
Yep.
not.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
all right,
Just
great.
don't know the exact amount. Yep.
And then I had one on, this is very nicely put together, by the way. On the multi-year commitments on page 5, you say 25,000 annually to the Rome Town Center development extended to 2028. That was actually for the master park, is that correct? That the park committee is, or is it
Correct.
for the, okay, so it's for Parks and Rec?
I'm sorry, it is.
Okay, no, don't about, but
No,
I just
no.
want to make sure that,
We wanted those funds dedicated to the Rome Town Center, though. And
oh,
that
not the
was-
Parks and Rec?
The park at Rome Town Center.
Oh,
Right.
that's what I'm trying to clarify.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep,
because it didn't say park, just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
that you meant the master park, the park over there.
correct.
Thank
Yep,
you very much for that clarification.
Yep.
That's all I have. Does anybody have any questions?
No, I can just say as being the supervisor who attends all the meetings and is involved in Visit Rome, we're really fortunate. It's an amazing organization. Lisa's a fantastic leader of it, and I think for a town this size, to have this organization doing the things they are, providing all the various activities that would not exist but for Visit Rome, it's a great benefit to the community, and so I'm happy to be involved in it, and thank you for your presentation, all your hard work at Visit Rome.
Thanks.
Thank you. Awesome job.
All right, then, anyone else? All right, thank you, Lisa, very much. All right, then we'll move on to item number 12. Discussion and possible action, recommendation from the Rome Town Center Subcommittee to begin the creation of a Rome Town Center land use master planner. Or creation, a master plan. So we have with us tonight, we have Tiffany Savecki, who is on the committee representing the CDA. We have Alexis, our zoning administrator, and we have Baker Thompson, who is our developer, and we have Diana Duggy from the Plan Commission. So they're going to give you a bit of a presentation, and you got this on your desk this evening as to what they're going to present. So, go ahead.
Okay, so we have been meeting quite often, even through the holidays, getting together and discussing the Rome Town Center and creating the master plan for the land use there. So in our preliminary report that we have put together for you, the background to what we are doing and why we're here. In late 2018, the town board established a Plan Commission, RTC, which is Rome Town Center, subcommittee to work through the process of updating development and design standards to be consistent with the updated town center design plan. The goal was to codify changes and updates to the RTC design plan with then existing standards and zoning codes for clear development guidelines. On May 14th of 2024, the town's contracted specialist, Sam A. Schultz, a land use and development advisor, presented implementation recommendations for the existing Rome Town Center design plan. These recommendations included strategies to proactively address development tendencies in the Rome Town Center by unifying RTC subdistricts and creating an updated framework for form-based non-use controls. These strategies will allow for easier administration of cohesive future land development. A financial planning tool to evaluate a development contribution to and development needs from the town was included for use with RTC land sales.
So, an overview of the RTC subcommittee. Sam Schultz conducted a thorough review of the RTC Design Plan Manual and RTC Zoning Code in early 2024. His work resulted in 15 RTC implementation recommendations and a fiscal analysis spreadsheet for future land sales to cover the town exposure for development costs. He presented this information at a joint meeting of the Town Board, Plan Commission, and CDA. The Plan Commission RTC Subcommittee was re-engaged on recommendation from the Plan Commission to the Town Board. The subcommittee is working through the 15 recommendations from SAM to update the RTC design plan and propose RTC zoning code amendments. Throughout their work, the RTC subcommittee has been mindful of the original Rome Town Center design plan and its origins, including community engagement, the RTC sub-district zoning codes, and the town's current comprehensive plan. So our work to date, 8 committee members made up of representatives from the Plan Commission, NCDA, 1 developer, 2 advisors, have participated in 8 meetings since August 2024. Our key takeaways so far have been reviewed history of the RTC and the previous RTC subcommittee work, considered key points from the 2019 RTC subcommittee work, including previous citizen involvement and the recurring themes, established committee objectives, and curated a list of action items. We're committed to a collaborative effort of public engagement and stakeholder outreach. Discussed potential RTC housing developments and density, considered current and pre-subdivided areas to create a flow between businesses and residential housing, allowing for building types, determine parcel size. We discussed updating the RTC design plan and steps needed to incorporate SAM's 15 recommendations, resulted with subcommittee's decision to explore utilizing the help of a professional master planner. Existing RTC design plans themes serve as a vision board to aid in guiding potential updates to ordinances and development standards. We reviewed RTC form-based and non-use controls such as setbacks, outdoor storage, and allowable accessory structures by comparing all sub-district zoning within the Rome Town Center. We examined extreme similarities and, most importantly, the few differences between the RTC sub-districts and the impacts of those differences. The subcommittee recommended changes to the RTC sub-district form-based non-use controls. A public hearing to unify these was set for the January Plan Commission meeting, which will be on the 14th. And then on the bottom of the page, we have a quote from Sam. I'm not going to read the long quote, sorry guys. And then I'm going to invite Baker to talk a little bit more about this.
Hello, good evening.
Hi.
Happy New Year.
Happy New
So,
Year.
I mean, look, a lot of this has been covered in this great little document here. I think what I would like just to add is that there's a piece in here. Well, I was very graciously asked to join the subcommittee, which has been great, and I think what's exciting to me about all that's gone on is that the town is in a wonderful place that wants to continue to grow, and has seen some growth in the last few years, particularly with Sam Valley getting off the ground. So as part of that, I had discussions with the ownership at Sam Valley, and we came up with the idea to offer to help start that master plan and really with no strings attached, offer the services of a master planner to get through an initial master plan. So at this point, we're at a great spot. We've tried to collect as much of our thoughts together, and the next step, based on what Sam recommended, who's the consultant, as well as my experience in development, is trying to get a professional to help think through all the ideas of where the town is, where the town would like to go, and incorporate those in a comprehensive plan that can be shared down the road with the town. So, do we do questions now? I'm happy to answer any questions about all that, but
Yeah,
I think at this point, we've covered really the high points. There's been some really, I think, great meetings so far with the subcommittee. Everybody's sort of collaborating together, and then I think there'll be opportunities to hear voices from the town, all the business owners down the road. But we're at a critical point now where I think we've gotten to a great spot. We've put our thoughts together. Michael Kaiser and Sam Valley's offer to sort of help us get to that next level with a traditional master plan, professional master planner, I think is a great step forward in 2025 here.
So we do have a copy of the letter from Michael L. Kaiser, saying that we've been a great partner with Sam Valley over the years, and they're offering on behalf of myself, like Baker said, himself and Sam Valley Resort the services of a master planner, and the goal would be to get through that first phase of the master plan for the town of Rome Center, with the understanding Sam Valley would cover those costs with no strings attached. So it's a pretty generous offer, and we wanted to bring it forward to the town board. We see some of the work that we're doing as far as, and maybe Lexi can elaborate on that just briefly, some of the work that we need to continue to do as well as that master planner would take off if this is approved, that we would have zoning issues, or zoning items that would need to be dealt with and updated based on those 15 launch points that we got from Sam, and we've already checked some of those off our list. So, and yes, Nick.
I would just build off of what Baker had referenced and say that we are, in another way, positioned well to do this at this time. You'll recall that we had built into the budget the idea of reviewing and updating our zoning ordinance. It would make a lot of sense to go through this process, get through that, and then, build off of whatever comes out of this as we look through our zoning ordinance and make those updates. So from a timing perspective, this is well positioned to be able to do that as kind of a follow-up to that.
Thank you. Diana, did you want to add anything about our work? It's covered? Alrighty. So did the board have any questions for Baker or Lexi or any committee member?
Oh, question, what's the timetable on all of this for the master planner, unless you already know who this person is, to be named or selected, implemented, and when we would actually see some usable results?
I'm happy to, so the short answer is there has been no selection. I think there's a couple in mind that we've looked at. Timeline, I think we'd like to get, assuming the board approves the plan tonight, I think we'd like to get started sooner rather than later. I don't know the timing of getting all the meetings together, but I think hopefully engage with the master planner, assuming everything goes well today, in the next 30 days, and then start that process. Does that seem fair?
Yes, that seems fair. And we have two that we're looking at. One was recommended by Sam, which is very highly regarded in the state, as well as one that Sam Valley has worked with that's also very highly regarded in the state. So we have quite the opportunity before us.
So I like to hear that, because I think it is worth saying that we're talking about a certified, whatever the proper term is, master planner. This isn't an employee of Sam Valley or anyone directly affiliated. It's just being paid for by Sam Valley.
Correct. It's a
Okay.
third party.
Third party master planner.
They're both based out of the southeast portion of the state, but they're very highly recommended around the state and have been used by many municipalities on Sam Valley. So
just back to the timeline, when this person is determined, selected, I assume you're going to have a contract of some sort with them. Is it possible to have a timeline in there that we have the results of this in 2025, or I don't know how many,
I hope it doesn't take that long.
or
I
in
think
6
this is-
months, or
I think
however
on
long
the
it
outside,
takes.
this would be a 6-month project to get all the ideas. And now, there's several phases of this, and I think what Sam Valley and Michael have really talked about is getting through that first phase, which is incorporating all the ideas, the needs, the wants, thinking about what's currently there, how that land is currently being used, if there's variations on what we need to do with that and all the zoning, try to get through that piece, and then also, use feedback, have an open door to be able to allow all parts of the community to contribute to that. So I think, but my hope would be is we'd have something to view by the middle of the summer.
I asked the question because I think there are some businesses, developers, so forth, on hold that want to come in and do things in the town, especially in the Rome Town Center with the housing. So they're just kind of waiting to see what's going to happen there, so.
And we have focused on the housing. We know that's a really important piece, and there are people that are anxious to look at that. But I think overall, if we have a master plan that tells us how that fits in the little bit of land space we have left, and we plan it properly, that would be the best approach. So if we can keep them on hold just a little bit longer, in order to develop it properly, that it fits within the area, we could still have good quality green space, vibrant spaces, but yet have density and different types of housing available with various developers. That would really be what we would like.
Yeah, I think the intent here is to move this forward so that those
Quickly.
that are waiting and interested in buying and building in Rome would be able to do so sooner rather than later. So to Nick's point, the timing, I feel like, is not only, to me, is it, we had a critical point in the town as it continues to grow, but just the timing of all the different pieces coming together with revisiting the zoning and having interested parties. I think, you know, the marrying of all that it could be really powerful.
And we may even find that some of those, and correct me if I'm wrong from the committee, but some of those master planning pieces, we've got so much in place already from the original plan. What we've done now, getting those two to correlate, and then moving on to a master planner with newer ideas, and then eventually public engagement and stakeholders in the community, what they'd like to see there, that I think at the most it might take us 6 months. I wouldn't like to see it go any longer than that, but maybe we've surprised ourselves and we can get it done in 4. I don't know, but.
And I guess last, but it should have been first, is to thank you and the entire committee, because I think you all worked through the summer, up through the holidays, and it's probably ended up being way more than some people might have thought when they agreed to be on this committee. I'm guessing that might be the case, but.
It's great. It's been
So
great.
it
Thank you.
sounds like everything looks great, and we're moving in the right direction, so really thank you on behalf, I think on behalf of the entire board for all your work
Thank you.
put into that.
Lexi, did you want to add something? You came up, would you like to?
Yeah, well, pretty much going along with what you just said, we do already have a pretty strong base for the document. We have the 15 points. We're doing a lot of, like, the grunt work already with getting things to Plan Commission, getting things approved. Like, tonight, we have some things going through. So when we get this planner in, we already have a lot of things that we're giving them to make it so we're able to kind of push through faster. And we have a lot of things that are kind of unique to us that we're able to get them caught up to speed with our committee. So we're not dragging them behind us. We're going to have them hitting the ground running with us, so.
Hit the ground running, that's a
well
good way
said.
of putting it, yeah.
Said.
Because we do have the two that we are evaluating and thinking about. They have experience in both planning and zoning, so that form-based non-use controls we talk about and use controls. We have a lot of that figured out already, and like Lexi said, we're sorting through that and bring more to Plan Commission and Board for updates. And it'll just make it easier for the master planner too when they start putting all those pieces together. So, and thank you very much to you and Mike, because we, at the meeting that day, we all were like, wow. So, yes, wow, and thank you.
We're excited.
It helps us move it a little bit faster. So does the board have any other questions for anyone on the committee or comments? No? Thank you all for making that presentation on behalf of our committee. And we will put this document online, with all our other documents are available. Alexi will make sure that we'll put them somewhere online that they can find them. It's under our meeting.
We'll add it to the board packet.
Thank you very much.
Madam Chair, then
Yes.
I think you'll want a motion, if you can consider a motion to move forward with the master plan. That way, the subcommittee has its charge and can.
I'll move that we move forward with the master planner services.
Okay, you'll allow the committee to move forward with continue with the process? Okay.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Supervisor Evenson, a second by Supervisor Minter, to accept the recommendation for the Rome Town Center subcommittee to begin the creation of a Rome Town Center land use master planner. Any more discussion or questions? Do we need any more clarity, Nick, or that's pretty spot on for us to move forward?
Yeah, I would
Okay.
just, during discussion, I would just make the additional note that I'd anticipate you'll continue to get updates from the subcommittee
Yes.
as to the progress.
Yes.
As part of your informational updates.
As we've been doing like at CDA Plan Commission and here. It's in Lexi's reports. All right, thank you, everyone. All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone, for your hard work. All right, we'll move on to number 13, discussion and possible action. Approval of resolution number 25-, a resolution requesting revisions to the large-scale solar and wind energy regulations as established by the Wisconsin Administrative Code and the Wisconsin statutes. See you tomorrow. Bye. So Nick, did you want to?
Yes, so
Why this is before us?
at the December 5th, 2024 meeting, the town board that did ask that I prepare a resolution that requests statutory and administrative code changes to give more local controls to large-scale solar and wind energy system regulations. Before you this evening is a proposed resolution. You'll see required, or requested edits, pertaining to Chapter 66, Chapter 196, and then in the Administrative Code, PSC 128. All of those changes would reduce the preemption that exists today. It would allow for more local controls, and there was a question that I had received from a board member as to whether or not other municipalities or other communities have considered and passed other similar resolutions. The answer is yes. In fact, I had prepared this with a very similar request to what I believe it was the Wisconsin Counties Association's Resolutions Committee had worked on. Now, they had asked for additional areas that wouldn't be pertinent to us to be considered for edits. So you may see a resolution out there sometime where there's additional statutory areas that are being requested for revision. Those aren't going to apply to us. We are asking the ones that would apply to us. So yes, other communities are asking for this. As you may know, municipalities often speak their boards by resolution, so this is a similar format, and hopefully will amplify the voice by having similar requests going out by communities, really asking for that local control to be reinstated.
And at the last board meeting, I did ask that we make sure that this goes to our state representatives for our area, as well as the Wisconsin Towns Association TAC Council, which is our advisory group down in Madison. They have a full-time lobbyist there to help us with issues just like this, and they're the ones that got us additional shared revenue. So they're very active, and we are members of TAC. And then also that it goes to the Secretary of the Tourism Secretary, as well as the Governor, to seriously consider these changes to give us more local control. Because fortunately, people still think we have a say in this, and all you need to do is point to that one statute, and we don't. So, does anybody have any questions or comments on the resolution?
No, I think I just want to point out that this is a resolution. It's going to the governor and agencies just to let them know that the town would like the law change in this regard, but it's not changing it. It's just stating our opinion about it, just so no one's confused that this is changing something. It has the hopes of changing something by us and other municipalities voicing our concerns over towns not having a say in these large-scale projects.
Do you think it'd be helpful if I read it quickly? I mean, there's
I
a
don't
lot
know.
of good key points in there. I could read it very quickly. I mean, it wouldn't.
That's up to you.
It's a resolution requesting revision. I'm sorry. I know it is, but not everybody looks at a resolution requesting revisions to the solar and wind energy regulations as established by the Wisconsin Administrative Code and Wisconsin statutes. Maybe, Nick, because you wrote it and you put the content in there, maybe you can point out the key portions that we're asking for changes to, but they're, like Supervisor Cole said, it's not changing it. This is what we need to have them seriously look at. So if you could maybe just touch on the key points.
Sure.
Of where in that administrative code we have issues.
So under the Be It Resolved section, you'll see 3 different areas. That's what I was referring to earlier. There's 3 statutory areas that, 2 statutory, 1 administrative code that regulates this, that directly impacts the town in these kind of situations. One is under Chapter 66, it'd be 66.0401. That reads as though it gives us some ability to control it under certain circumstances. So you'll see that section as it's drafted looks as though it gives us some controls. The problem is if you go then to the 196.491, that's your preemption statute, right? So even if you did have that, if the CPCN application is approved, it is saying there that it's preempting, okay, the regulations. That's a problem, of course, for local controls, because you can't have an ordinance that inhibits it or prevents it because it preempts that. So those are the sections that are being requested. If those were removed, we would absolutely have more local controls in this, beyond just any kind of negotiated JDA.
Which would include our comp plan and zoning code for what we would and wouldn't
That's correct.
permit. So that's why that preemptive language in there is important with the other one. As well as there's a statement in here regarding Wisconsin Public Service Commission has promulgated rules that limit how anything can regulate that preemptive is the one that really ties our hands.
Correct, yes.
So, any other questions for Nick? I'll entertain a motion then.
I'll move that we go through with the resolution. Not sure how it's stated here, but
Okay.
I'll
as
second.
presented.
We have a motion by Supervisor Evenson and a second by Supervisor Cole for the approval of Resolution Number 25-, requesting revisions to stronger local controls over the large-scale solar and wind energy regulations as established by the state. Any more questions or comments? All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And then we would just ask that, and we make sure that goes to the different entities already identified. Great,
Do we need
thank
to
you.
sign that today?
Yes, we
Okay.
could. All right, number 14, discussion and possible action, approval of ordinance number 25, recommendation from the Plan Commission of proposed amendments to Chapter 360 zoning, Article 3, general regulations, 360-9, use regulations, Article 4, administration and enforcement, 360-22 zoning permits, Article 6, R-1, single-family resident district, 360-36 conditional uses, Article 7, R1C, single-family conservation residence district, 360-40 conditional uses, and Article 12, Lake District, LD Lake District, 360-61 conditional uses relating to zoning regulations for short-term rentals. And just please make a note, I believe on the copies we have in our packet, it said 24-, so when you make your, oh, you did, okay, perfect. All right.
We just didn't change the packet.
Okay, we didn't change the packet, but we do have a corrected ordinance with year 25 on there. Any questions or comments? Nick, do you wanna
I
lead
can
in
just
with
give
this,
a
please?
general intro to this. Actually, my intro will be relevant to both this and the next agenda item. So this and the next agenda item relate to some of the regulations that we have in the town for short-term rentals. So when we talk about regulating short-term rentals, we're really talking about specifically two statutes or two ordinances. One is Chapter 360. We do have some regulations in our zoning ordinance. The other is in Chapter 234. Pertinent to the 360 regulations, currently, as part of our short-term rental license process, we have the step in there that a conditional use permit is required. So it's been in our zoning ordinance all along as a required step to get your short-term rental license. Over a couple years, we've seen a large number of applications come through. The Plan Commission has, of course, held public hearings for that and make their determination after that. Oftentimes, what we were seeing is very similar conditions being placed on them. Namely, the condition being that there be a property manager located within 25 miles of the short-term rental. And so, over time, the Plan Commission has recognized that a lot of these deliberations have been very similar. A lot of the conditions have been the same. And so, over the last few months, we've been reviewing the zoning ordinance as well as the Chapter 234 regulations to make some recommendations to edits. So, with Chapter 360, what is being proposed is to eliminate the conditional use permit requirement in the zoning ordinance. As part of the short-term rental license application, there would still be the zoning permit as part of that. The actual cost of that zoning permit is just built into the short-term rental license, so it isn't increased cost, nothing as far as that's concerned. By having that zoning permit as just part of the process, it still has that touch point with the zoning administrator that has always existed. It allows the zoning administrator to review the application, to set the occupancy using the standards that we have in our ordinance, the parking using the standards again that we have in our ordinance. Also, it allows the ability to communicate this to the Plan Commission, which continues to be a concern. We just want to make sure that we have in a review step, if needed, with the Plan Commission, and that's what the zoning permit allows for. And so the Chapter 360 edits are first in the use section, so that'd be 360-9. You'll see a reference to adjusting conditional use permit to zoning permit in that paragraph. And then I'd also just note that there is also some added language that comes from the findings of fact document that the Plan Commission adopts every time that they consider the conditional use permit. And that is just saying that it's to ensure that the establishment, maintenance, and operation of the proposed use won't be detrimental or endanger the public health, safety, or general welfare of the occupants of surrounding land. So in other words, just being mindful of the other occupants around, that there isn't an adverse impact on that. Then, under it'd be Article 4, specifically 360-22, where there's zoning permit section, you'll just see references now to the short-term rental being a zoning permit, basically a part of the zoning permit as a part of that short-term rental process. You'll see some language in there that does allow for the zoning administrator to refer that application to the Plan Commission for their review, if they deem it appropriate. This is very similar to, for example, we have in our land division ordinance, we have the same exact process that exists. It allows the zoning administrator to refer that to the Plan Commission if there's some exigent circumstances that she feels warrants additional oversight and review. It allows for that to happen. So that's what that language is. And then second would be under G. The duration of that is indefinite as long as the owner holds a short-term rental license. That also is exactly the same as what we have in our findings of fact document when the Plan Commission adopts and approves adopts the findings of fact in approving the short-term rental license. Or short-term rental conditional use. Then the remainder of the edits to the Chapter 360 section is just removing the conditional use permit requirements out of each of those districts, and so you'll see some stricken language there. This item was considered last by the Plan Commission at its meeting on December 10th, 2024, where a public hearing was held, after which the Plan Commission did make the recommended edits to Chapter 360. They made the recommendation that those be approved.
And just note, if anybody is aware, maybe you're not, but not all of the not all the residential districts in town were listed because not all of them had that short-term language in there. Is that correct?
Right, and the reason it's not in every one of them is because some of our districts, some of those residential districts, just have under its use, it will have, it just approves the use in another district. It incorporates it by reference, so it doesn't specifically list short-term
Spell it
rental.
out. Okay, Lexi, did you have anything you wanted to add? Lexi, our zoning administrator, or did Nick cover it pretty well, or did you have something you want to add? All right, okay, thank you. So does the board have any questions or comments? And one thing, it was brought up and it's already taken place. I believe new fees are in place for this as well. We discussed it earlier today at CDA. Just briefly touched on it that with the changes in the processing and the permitting, the fees also went down to correlate with that, so.
Actually,
Because we're
that-
simplifying things all the way around for the applicant as well as the town that has to process these, as well as for the Plan Commission that oversaw them.
That's a good point, and although I spent a lot of time in the actual provisions, if I take a step back and just talk about the general benefit to everyone, I think this was with the idea that that short-term rental licenses can be processed more efficiently, which will be an improvement for the public that is looking to short-term rent. It'll likely save some time there. It will also make it more efficient internally, right? With staff, it's going to improve that efficiency because it's not going to be setting public hearings, setting it out sometimes months to make sure that all those steps of the short-term rental license are set before we set the public hearing. So it is going to improve efficiencies internally. It's going to improve efficiencies for those that are looking to short-term rent. And as the Chairwoman said, the fees have already decreased, but certainly the fees also reduced because there is no longer a conditional use permit step in there.
Public hearings, so. And so there'll be time savings as wise for the applicant. They'll be able to process that much quicker.
Absolutely, there will be, yes.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion then. There's no more comments or questions?
I'll move for approval of ordinance number 25 recommendation from Plan Commission of proposed amendments to Chapter 360 zoning, Article 3. And then I'm not going to read all of this. And the rest of it, Ed, is listed on the agenda in regard to regulations for short-term rentals.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Supervisor Cole, a second by Supervisor Evenson to approve ordinance number 25 on the recommendation from Plan Commission of proposed amendments to Chapter 360 zoning, Article 3 general regulations 60-9 as printed on our agenda. Any more discussion or comments or questions? All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 15, discussion and possible action, approval of ordinance number 25, recommendation from the Plan Commission of proposed amendments to Chapter 234, license and permits, Article 7, short-term rentals.
All right, just another reminder that most of our ordinance regulations for short-term rentals lies in Chapter 234, and so what you have here under Article 7 is our consideration of updates to our regulations for short-term rentals. This also came as a kind of a ancillary recommendation from the Plan Commission, and it relates to edits in 3 different areas. Number one, maybe the easiest edits are general edits to previous references of clerk treasurer. As you know, we've been adjusting that as we've been going, and so all those references to clerk treasurer are now updated to town clerk. So those are the general changes. Then second, under 234-58 is including a reference to the zoning permit as part of the application. Again, just noting that that gets the touch point with the zoning administrator to do those steps that are, that are taking place currently. And so that's in there as a step. And then under 234-61, as I had talked about, one of the things that was coming up, really the most routinely coming up item in those conditional use permit considerations was the idea of a property manager. And so you'll see what this is doing is codifying that property manager requirement under, it'd be 234-61.
So the biggest changes, just to make it simple for those that are watching at home, maybe not everybody that caught it, is the zoning permit is issued by the Town of Rome zoning administrator, and the local property manager is being codified within the ordinance.
Yes.
Would there be any consideration for those properties that currently do not have a local property manager? Is that grandfathered, or will they have to come in compliance with that?
So there isn't a non-conforming use with an outside of zoning ordinance situation. That said, we would anticipate building it into the application, a question for the designated property manager, and start collecting that information as renewals happen.
And I think it's worth saying this doesn't change the number of nights that are required for rental. It doesn't change the host compliance agreement. Nothing of that nature changes at all. It's just streamlining the process.
That's correct.
Taking away the conditional use permit, which involved time, money, that slowed things down, so.
I'll make a motion to approve the changes for the ordinance number 25 recommended from the Planning Commission of the proposed amendments to Chapter 234, Article 7, short-term rentals.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Supervisor Evenson and a second by Supervisor Minter for the approval of ordinance number 25 on the recommendation from Plan Commission for proposed amendments to Chapter 234 regarding short-term rentals. Any more questions or comments? All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right. So, number 16, the board may adjourn into closed session pursuant to section 19.85 sub 1 sub C of the Wisconsin statutes, which reads, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. Town administrator, 12-month evaluation. I need a motion.
I move we go into closed session as per the agenda item.
A second.
Motion by Supervisor Evenson, second by Supervisor Cole, to adjourn into closed session pursuant to section 19.85 sub 1 sub C for the town administrator 12-month evaluation. So I think we'll go in there first with,
Roll
oh, I'm
call.
sorry, yes, thank you. Roll call vote starting on my left.
Evenson, yes.
Minter, yes.
Jumati, yes.
Cole, yes.
Okay. And we'll go in first with Nick as our facilitator, so board reserves the right to reconvene into open session as authorized by Wisconsin statute section 19.85 sub 2 and continue with the agenda.
I make a motion that we come back into open session.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Evenson, second by Supervisor Minter to reconvene into open session as authorized by statute section 19.85 sub 2 and continue with our agenda. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
You don't need a roll call for it.
Yeah, I learned that too. That was one thing Jackie taught me. I always took a roll, but I guess we don't need one. Okay, so, and then number 18, we'll be pushing off on, we'll be moving forward to our next agenda items. So there'll be no action taken on number 18 this evening, because we'll have a compiled list prepared and we'll go through it next week. All right, and then next agenda items. I have a few here. I'm sure maybe Nick and Jason have some or others have any. A referral to the Plan Commission for the small-scale solar and wind ordinance revisions. Jackie had brought it up. I had brought it up to Nick and Jamie quite a while ago because there were changes regarding wind energy systems, but nothing about small-scale solar. And I think the time is right for us now that we've sent out that resolution to take care of that as well and update that language accordingly. Also, the driveway permitting process ordinance that was brought forward by Cody, we got that, all right. And then we'll do the administrator goals for 2025. Anybody else? Do you have anything from Parks and Rec that you'll?
Park's not meeting till the 20th, I think we're meeting.
So that's after our
That's
next
after
town
the
board
next
meeting?
Yeah.
So do you think you'll be-
In February, we'll have some park stuff.
All right, so you should be ready by then to approve the corp, master park plan, all of that kind of stuff.
Corp will be in the next meeting, where the dogs are, where the pets are allowed or not allowed will be in the next meeting. We'll start looking at our list of projects.
Okay.
Master park plan's not really changing, so.
It's part of the, we have to adopt it and make it part of the corp?
Yeah,
Okay.
but that'll be February.
Oops, sorry. I think we've done this before, but maybe with the new year, it's a good time. You've asked in the past for board members to come back with maybe their top 3 or however focuses they want into a new year,
We can do that.
or whatever number you want to place that at, how many you want. It's hard to come up with more than 3 sometimes, but at least then you, whatever your kind of top 3 priorities are
I think that's a good
in
idea.
your mind, in each board member's mind, helps us work as a
Ties
team.
into
Yeah.
the administrator goals for the.
Bring them to
The next meeting. Yeah, it's close to her mic. I had that happen to me at a meeting too where it was humming and,
If, well, mics are off, it doesn't do it.
you know.
Like I have my computer plugged in because we have a 3-hour meeting.
Okay, Tom. Well, we've got work to do, so I can't help, I mean, this is pretty short, 18. Anyway, fun aside. Next meeting date and time.
January 16th.
January 16th.
At 5 p.m. And just make note too that for those who weren't at CDA, we're having our CDA meeting on that Wednesday because Lexi won't be here that Thursday, just to make a public, another public.
On January 16th again.
No.
February 6th.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm getting ahead of myself. The 5 p.m. is, I'm getting tired too now. Alrighty, anybody else has, Jason, you have anything? Nick, from Plan Commission, we'll probably have some
There
items.
Likely will be stuff from Plan Commission.
Yeah, we are gonna be working on the non-use
depend.
controls, form-based, okay.
Yep, it'll depend on if the Plan Commission recommends that through.
And you might have some things from RTC then as well. Subcommittee, okay. Alrighty. Motion to adjourn?
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Cole, second by Supervisor Evenson to adjourn the meeting at 7:22. All right,
Are you getting?
all in favor? I know it's gonna make them wait for it. Opposed?